was looking I was too scared to break away from the Beatles, but I've been looking to it since '65 when we stopped touring. And maybe Paul had too, I don't know. I can't speak for the others. But I made a movie, How I Won the War, with Dick Lester, which never got much seen, but it did me a lot of good. Well, it did me a lot of good to get away, and it was a withdrawal. I was in Almeria, Spain, and I wrote Strawberry Fields there, by the way. But I was there 6 weeks, and it gave me time to think and sort of be separate from the others, but still be working and not left in the house alone, sort of. And I used to think, well, you know, like a lot of people do, well, what can I do if I don't do that? And so from '65 on, I was sort of vaguely looking for somewhere to go, but didn't have the nerve to really step out in the boat by myself, push the boat off. So I sort of hung around. And when I met and fell in love, my God, this is different from anything before. This is something other. You know, this is well, I don't know what it is, but this is fine. This is, you know, thank you. You know, it's more than a hit record. It's more than gold. It's more than everything. It's more than. This is something indescribable. And so that's what happened. You know, we just got so self-involved that I did free myself physically from the Beatles, but not mentally. Mentally, I was still carrying them around in the back of the head. Although the initial love thing blinds everything. Everything is under shining lights, and you want everybody to be happy, and just like you. And it's, you know, it's rather dizzying. Later on, the love is different, and one can slow down a little. It's not less, it's just different. And so therefore I could lift out all this garbage that was still being carried around, which was influencing the way I thought and the way I lived and all the rest of it. And then finally free myself from the mental, let's call it Beatles, or 60s or whatever it was. So the first one was a physical escape. The second one was a mental escape. You know, when are they coming back, and when are they going to do this, and what do you think of Paul, and what do you think of George? You know, I don't think that old gang of mine, you know, that's all over. You know, when I met Yoko is when you meet your first woman, and you leave the guys at the bar, and you don't go play football anymore, and you don't go play snooker or billiards. And maybe some guys like to do it every Friday night or something, and, you know, continue that relationship with the boys. But once I found the woman, the boys became of no interest whatsoever, other than they were all like old school friends. You know, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. But how's your life? You know, mine. That's it. That old gang of mine. It's all over. You know that song. Those wedding bells are breaking up that old gang of mine. Well, it didn't hit me till whatever age I was when I met Yoko, which was 26, 1966. I met, but the full impact didn't. We didn't get married till 68. It's all blends into one big movie. But whatever, that was it. The old gang was over the moment I met her. I didn't consciously know it at the time, but that's what was going on. As soon as I met her, that was the end of the boys. And it just so happened the boys were well known and weren't just the local guys at the bar. These were guys that everybody else knew, but it was the same thing. You know, that's all over for that. But then everybody got so upset about it and angry, but we were so involved in each other, we just went and made the records and did bed-ins and sort of blasted our way through it.
I just sort of went to bed with this guy that I liked, and suddenly the next morning I see these three guys standing with resentful eyes, you know. I mean, three relatives suddenly appearing, you know. So it was including
not the bloody Beatles. Let's have no more Beatles, Christianity or Bob Dylan, okay? Let's make that, you know, because it all becomes the same thing, right?
Her Indica Gallery show was like the meeting Don Juan. You know, at first I didn't realize who I was meeting. But because I got the initial game, I played the initial game right, is that the reason we connected about the breathing and the apple and the yes and the conceptual money and the nails and all that. Because I said the right answers, I got in. Whatever the right, like, you know, the Zen koan. Well, it's the same thing, you know. There are many answers.
And you make it sound almost like a teacher-pupil
It is
relationship.
a teacher-pupil relationship. That's what people don't understand. She's the teacher and I'm the pupil. I'm the famous one. I'm the one that's supposed to know everything, but she's my teacher. She's taught me everything I fucking know. The lessons are damn hard and I can't take it sometimes because those lessons are hard. And that's why I'm the one that freaked out. When we were separate, it was me making an asshole of myself in the clubs and in the newspapers. It wasn't her. Her life was ordered. She missed me as a human being and she loved me. But her life was ordered. I went back to her life. It wasn't the other way around.
I think that love will never die. I mean, once you know somebody, you can never unknow them. If they're not afraid of love, you're always going to love. It's all right to be afraid. You know? That's what I'm saying in this song about don't be afraid to be afraid. You know? Don't be shy, don't be scared. You know, it's all that.
You have to know why we met. I don't know. It's like saying why were you born? You know? I mean, I can give you theories of karmic, you know, pasts and things like that, but I have no idea why. But why it continues is because we wanted it to continue and worked hard to continue. And what I was getting to, the point where there seems to be certain cycles that relationships go through, and the critical points are at different parts of it. Different cycle, you know, different points on if there's a straight line, the different points, you know? And the sort of bit, the new way of talking is like, well, you know, why have a relationship? We just stop and get another one. But the karmic joke about that is that any new relationship, presuming you're lucky enough to find a new relationship of anywhere near the relationship that you're giving up, or exchanging, or walking away from, or have destroyed by inattention or inadvertent or selfishness or whatever it is, that you have to go through the same thing again anyway. You reach the same point, and that's why some of the poor dingbats in my business or in so-called show business go through it over and over and over again, right up to their 70, because they can never grasp onto the fact that they're going to have to go through the same thing again, and they get to the sort of the 5-year stretch or the 7-year stretch or wherever these tension points are that seem to be organic, built in like the tide coming in and out. When I was kicked out on a raft in the middle of the universe, I realized where I was, which was, you know, on a raft in the middle of the universe, and that whatever happened, presuming I could have started another relationship, would have ended up in the same place if I was lucky. If. Big if.
Yeah, to get to that point.
To get to the same point again. It's like they say about karma, you know, you have to come back and go through that thing again if you don't get it right this lifetime. Well, those laws that are sort of cosmically talked about, accepted or not accepted, but it's the ones they all talk about, we all refer to, they apply down to the minute detail of life too. It's like instant karma, is my way of saying it. Right, you know, it happens about a cup of coffee or anything. It's not just some big cosmic thing, it's that as well, but it's also the small things like your life here and your relationship with the person you want to live with and be with. There are laws governing that relationship too. And you can either give up halfway up the hill and say, I don't want to climb this mountain, it's too tough, or I'm going to go back to the bottom and start again. And, well, we were lucky enough to go through that and come back and pick up where we left off, although it took us some kind of energy to blend in again and get in the same sync again.
We're not always smart, I mean, you know, we're not
No, we don't.
Because master, you know, we're very quiet.
Japanese,
You know, like John is such a hot-tempered person.
No, I'm not. I have a few moments. Do you mind if I
No,
come in
please,
for a
John,
rest?
it's great, you know, because we're talking how beautiful the world is, and it's true.
Oh, today it is. Yesterday it was terrible. So what the hell, yeah.
But
You know,
terrible days is not, it happens like this.
if it was really bad, we'd kill ourselves. It can never be that bad.
I didn't feel that.
Well, I had a complete
It's a
set
market
all
to
neatly.
have it there and I
No, they're one of my bag. You just couldn't.
No, it's great which one do you
I
want?
won't be able to do it. I know them by heart, but I feel better when I open my eyes. Nobody controls me. I'm uncontrollable. The only one that can control me is me, and that's just barely possible. But that's what life lesson I'm learning. If somebody's going to impress me, whether it be a Maharishi or a Janov or a Yoko, then there comes a point where the emperor has no clothes, because I do stupid things, I've done stupid things, I'm naive, but I'm also not stupid. So there comes a point where I will see, nobody can hold all that long. So for all you folks out there who think that I'm having a woeful of my eyes, well, that's an insult to me. Not that you think less of Yoko, because that's your problem, what you think of Yoko. What I think of is what counts. But if you think you know me or you have some part of me because of the music, and then you think that I'm being controlled like a dog on a leash because I do things with her, then screw you. Because, fuck you, brother or sister, you don't know what's happening. I'm not here for you, I'm here for me and her, and now the baby. And,
Another thing is, of course, it's a total insult to me, because,
well, you're always insulting,
I'm not
Natural.
even bothered to control anybody, because, why should I even?
She doesn't need me.
I have my own life, but...
She doesn't need a Beatle.
If I'm a pawn,
Who needs a
nobody
Beatle?
can be that much of a pawn, because, look, my high school lasted what? So then I was the biggest pawn in the world. I was with 13 years,
I don't think anybody should be that interested in every detail of my life, from Beatles to now. But anybody who claims to have some interest in me as an individual artist, or even as part of the Beatles, has absolutely misunderstood everything I ever said if they can't see why I'm with Yoko. And if they can't see that, they don't see anything. They're just jacking off to, could be Mick Jagger or somebody else. Let them go and jack off to Mick Jagger, okay? I don't need it. I absolutely don't need it. Let them chase wings. Just forget about me. If that's what you want, go after Paul or Mick. I ain't here for that. Go and play with the rolling wings. But no, can we get back to this other stuff just a second? Like you do, sometimes I can't let go of it. Because nobody ever said anything about what Paul having a spell over me when I was with him for a long time, or me having a spell over Paul. They didn't think that was abnormal, 2 guys together, or 4 guys together. In those days, why didn't anybody ever say, how come those guys don't split up? I mean, what's going on backstage? I mean, what is that, Paul and John business? Why, how can they be together so long? We spent more time together than John and Yoko in the early days, so 4 of us sleeping in the same room, practically in the same bed, in the same truck, all right, doing everything together. Nobody said a damn thing about being under the spell. Maybe they said we were under the spell of Brian Epstein or George Martin. There's always somebody has to be doing something to it. We're the ones that cast the spell.
God don't like that.
Yeah, all the boys is all right, but you go with a woman, it's something abnormal. Yeah.
Yes,
So, I just wanted to finish that one off with that, because Jesus, nobody ever said it, they're congratulating the Stones on being together 112 years. Whoopee. Whoopee. At least Charlie and Bill still got their families. That seems to be the karmic trick, the cosmic joke number 9. But we can't just sit back and say, will of Allah, because we know it's some of the universe is breathing in and out, therefore we're going to get Hitler then Christ and Hitler then Christ and use those 2 again. because they're just convenient. But it's not a matter of sitting back and waiting for Christ or accepting Hitler. We have to do something, but whatever's going to happen anyway as well. Both at the same time.
Well, whatever is going to happen is going to happen all of us.
Yeah, right. Que sera, sera, but we're responsible.
We are responsible.
The future is ours. See, that's the only line I've changed in that view. If we can't see it, ain't nobody going to see it for us.
The idea of leadership is a false god. And that if you want to use the Beatles or John and Yoko, people are expecting us to do something for them. That's not what's going to happen, because they're the ones that didn't understand any message we came before anyway. And they're the ones that will follow Hitler or follow the moon or whatever. Following them is not what it's about. But leaving messages of this is what's happening to us, hey, what's happening to you, sending postcards and letters is what we do. And that's different. And it's that, I think the idea of leadership is that old Judeo-Christian idea of the separateness of God, it, her, she, from us as the outside of us, the other. We are the other, there's only one. So therefore, people can't expect more from us than they expect from themselves. And that message was pretty apparent in the Beatles' positive all you need is love. Through the gifts you should chant, begging, war is over if you want it, half-time days for a while. The same thread as well. But it is not somebody standing up and say, follow me, this is how it is. I am, she is, only part of your own same boat. And therefore we don't feel the responsibility and we don't take the responsibility for the people we are. We take responsibility for the whole thing because we're all responsible for the whole thing.
If somebody comes along with a good piece of truth, and instead of the truth being looked at, the person who brought it, it's like that when the bad news comes, they shoot the messenger. When the good news comes, they worship the messenger, and they don't listen to the message, whether it be Christianity, Mohammedanism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Marxism, Maoism, everything. It's always about the person and never about what they say.
But see, people like to personalize things. People even personalize God. When you say God, most people think about this old man with white beard. They don't think God is an asshole, right?
They don't know it's an old woman with a beard, do they?
No, right.
Stories about Yoko story, that's what I'm saying now. You want to say Peru, you want to say Peru, it's quite possible to do anything, but not to put it on the leaders and party leaders. Don't expect Barbara or Megan or John Lennon or Yoko Ono or Bob Dylan or Jesus Christ to come and do it for you. You have to do it yourself. That's what the great masters and mistresses have been saying ever since time began. They can point the way, leave signposts and little instructions in various books that are now called holy. And worship for the cover of the book, you know what it says. There's the instructions all there for all to see, have always been, always will be. There's nothing new under the sun. Not a road changed to Rome. People can offer that. I can't wake you up, you wake you up. I can't cure you, you cure you.
Well, I like to daydream a lot. I mean, that's what I do anyway. And that takes me to places where I want to go. So, going out totally daydream a lot. And then think of the next project.
Gandhi and Martin Luther King are great examples of fantastic non-violence who died violently. I can't never work that out.
Yeah.
With pacifists, but I'm not sure. It's always that. But what does it mean when you're such a pacifist that you get shocked? I can never understand that.
Well, we had, let's say that despite it all, we had a good life.
Yeah.
And I think life is beautiful, and I enjoy it. And I am enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I think she is too.
Yeah.
So there's that too. In that sense, maybe I'm an endless optimist, but I don't think of war as well. People think, oh well, you know, the world is going to end very soon, 1984, so don't have children. I think that sheer optimism
That's self-taught.
and a lot of children are going to just maybe stop now.
Listen to your woman, but not closely.